believe it's been nearly a year since Father passed away? It does not seem possible.
It's exactly 1 year on Friday, Alice said.
Yes, that is one date I will not forget. But I've never been as good as you with dates.
Somehow, remembering dates has always been easy for me. Alice set down her empty glass. Even as a little girl, I knew everyone's birthday and mother and father's anniversary and all sorts of things. In the last few years, Father often relied on me to be his walking calendar. She chuckled. In fact, I just reminded Pastor Thompson that next Sunday is Grandparents' Day. I hope he didn't think I was trying to interfere. Father always liked to give the grandmothers a carnation on that day. Louise adjusted her glasses as she counted the stitches on her latest knitting project.
Well, I'll probably never be the lucky recipient of a Grandparents' Day carnation.
Just then, the youngest sister stepped out with a plate of lemon squares.
"What's this you're complaining about, Louise?"
she asked as she set the china plate on the nearby wicker table, nodding an invitation. "Not being a grandmother," Alice answered for Louise as she reached for a sticky yellow bar. "Oh, Jane, these look lovely."
"I'm not complaining,"
said Louise as she set aside her knitting in exchange for a lemon square.
"I just doubt that Cynthia will ever make me a grandmother. Goodness knows. I'd be thrilled just to see her married and settled down, but of course, she's a busy career woman, and I think she's waiting for Mr. Right to come along."
"Well, what's wrong with that?"
said Jane as she refilled their glasses.
"I was older than Cynthia when I married, and sometimes I wish I'd waited a little longer myself."
Alice reached over and patted Jane's hand. "How were you to know things would turn out that way with Justin back then, Jane?"
"That's true enough," said Jane. "But being nearly 40 and never married, well, I think maybe I just panicked."
"Panicked?" said Louise with raised brows.
"It's hard to imagine you're panicking about anything, Jane."
Jane tossed her oldest sister an indulgent smile.
"Oh, sure, I probably come across as in control most of the time, especially if I have a lot of confidence in an area, cooking or gardening, for instance."
"Or decorating or art," added Alice.
"But when it comes to romance,"
Jane sadly shook her head,
"well, I'm just not too savvy about things of the heart."
"Maybe it's a family trait," suggested Alice. "It's never been my strongest suit either."
"Well, speak for yourself," said Louise. "I think I fared quite well in the love and romance arena. Elliot and I came close to celebrating 40 years of blissful marriage before he was called to his eternal reward."
"Blissful?"
Jane's brow furrowed slightly.
"I can remember a couple of times when you and Elliot weren't even speaking to each other. How about that Christmas back in 1978 when you showed up here by yourself and Father'd had to—"
"Oh, we don't need to go back there, Jane." Alice smoothed her hand over Wendell's furry coat. Perhaps Louise's memories have grown sweeter with the passing of time. Louise nodded.
"Yes, Alice is absolutely right. I probably have forgotten a few unhappy things over the past few years. But for the most part, Elliot and I were quite content together."
"Isn't it interesting that of the 3 Howard women, only one of us had a happy marriage?"
Jane asked. "Father and Mother had a very happy marriage," said Alice.
"Yes," agreed Louise. "I never saw any other couple more in love than those two."
Jane reached for a second lemon square.
"Well, I guess I'll have to take your word for that."
Alice nodded. "It's true, Jane. They were completely devoted to each other. How Father grieved for Mother after she died. It was no surprise that he never married again."
"And goodness knows he had his chances," said Louise.
"That's right," said Alice. "There was a time when it seemed like every widow in Acorn Hill was chasing him."
"Not to mention the divorcees."
Louise started to laugh.
"Do you remember Mrs. Paulson, Alice?"
"Phoebe Paulson." Alice slapped her hand over her mouth to suppress